We've got a little issue with our sunflower disc chisel. The bearings on the right side are going bad. You can see when you look down in there that the big gap at the top and no gap at the bottom. And you can see it a lot on this one. It's actually starting to kick sideways. So one thing we're going to do now is tear this apart, put new bearings in it. You can see it again on this one. You see the no gap in the bottom and a big gap in the top. And we'll take a quick look over on the other side. You can see how even it is. So that's how it should look. There's another good one. So next thing we got in order is tearing this chisel apart behind the 8760. But we do get to enjoy a nice sunset while we're working. In the process of replacing the bearings, we have to pull these bolts out on all 3 of these. So we got to take 6 bolts out. And we started out and we broke them loose with this big breaker bar ratchet. And now we're going at them with the Milwaukee. With extensions so long, the Milwaukee wouldn't break them loose. We're losing too much torque. Once you take the bolt out in the front, right here, then you can take this piece off. This is on the front down here, and then you can roll the whole disc out. So we're going to go through and remove the front bolts off, and then we'll be able to roll that out so we can take that apart and put new bearings on it. We took the cotter pin out and just put a big pipe wrench on the end, and we're breaking it loose. We won't take it all the way off because we still need to roll it into the shop to finish working on it. And right now we're backing the tractor up, and we're just backing the disc away. You can see and these are pretty much shot. But we just backed the tractor away, and now we're just going to take that and we're going to roll it in here to the shop so we can work on it. And we've got these little spacers here. They go in the grease zerk end. Just a little reminder. We have the disc off, and you hear the tractor getting put away in the background. And we've got this loose, so you can start taking it apart this way. Shot. Slide down a couple more. This one, really bad. Really bad. And this one's bad, but this one is by far the worst. We'll start taking things apart. You can see the nut and the spacer here. Then we want to just keep a good track of every part. And videotape while you take your own apart. You got your cone here, your bearing support, another disc blade. So just make sure you keep track of all of them. So we got that, and 1, 2, 3. Then you got your support again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got our support. Make sure you keep track of all these parts when you take it all apart. And it'll make it go back together a lot easier. once you have that nut off the end, you can just start slipping the pieces off one at a time. And we just kind of staggered them up so we can slip them right back on in opposite order, with this piece down here going down there, the next one, etc. So it makes it easier to put it back together once we have all the new parts. And just try to keep everything in order. Plus we took some pictures and some video. That always helps out when it comes time to take things apart and put them back together. We have our new parts, so we can start reassembling the disc. And I went ahead and I cleaned the shaft up and I lubed it up a little bit. I already got one of the cones slid on, and I have one of the bearings ready to go on. And here's our new 5 of our new cones, plus we got our 6th one over there, and our 3 new bearings. And we'll take a quick look here, and it's AGCO parts. And unfortunately it says made in China, but that's the way things are nowadays. And serial number, there we go, and it's 53091, and there it is again. And we got our parts from Affolter and Burn. They've worked with our family for a lot of years. And then we also have our cones, and I'll spin that around real quick. And there we've got a serial number 3100. Check that out, made in USA. Good to see that on there. So we'll go ahead and we'll start sliding these parts back on in reverse order as we took it apart, and kind of take a little more video as we go. You can see that there's no grease zerk in the new ones. The old one had a grease zerk in the rear. So that's a little bit of a change. So we'll save us greasing them in the future. I don't know if that's good or bad, time will tell. We have our new 2967 impact here, Milwaukee, and 2 3/4 inch socket, so we're just going to tighten up some. Now that we have the nut on and tight, we'll double check it. We'll put a big wrench on the other end and crank it down a little bit more once we have it in the disc. But we can see we have our 2 cones and our bearing nice and firm. And we have 3 spacers, another bearing, spins okay. And then 4 more spacers, just like before. And we'll double check that one, and that one spins nice. So, all of our discs are tight. So, should be ready to go back into the disc chisel. Put it back in the field here shortly. And I went ahead and I just rolled it out of the shop. I'm going to roll it out as close as I can get it to the disc chisel, lower it down, and try to line up my 3 bearings to the 3 points it's got to go into, and just lower it down and drive it ahead. I've got it lined up fairly close. So I'm going to put a little bit of lube inside the cup there and on the end down here before I put it together. One nice thing about articulating machine is you can wiggle it back and forth enough to get things to line up and just raise and lower it as you need it. Well, had to do a little bit more work. This one would line up and this one would line up, but I couldn't get the center one to line up, so I had to take these guys loose and shift it that way just about a 1/16 of an inch or maybe an 1/8 of an inch, but not very much. Now I have all 3 of them lined up. So it's time to roll it on back and then start putting the caps on the other part. We put a big pipe wrench on the other end and we hammered it down with the impact until we could put the cotter pin through right there. We went ahead and we put all the pieces on the bottom for the bearings, supports, snugged all the bolts up good. All the center one, again, tighten all the bolts, and we still have to tighten the bolts on the top. And then we'll crank them down with a breaker bar. Make sure they're good and tight. And be sure to tighten well, she's all back together, ready to go back out in the field. And it spins. Good sign. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.